Hey there, and welcome back to another video about accessibility in FCPS. Uh, this video is going to be about alternative text or alt text. But before we jump in a little bit more with our example here, I just wanted to remind everybody that we use alt text so we make the environment or we make our materials accessible so that everybody can use them. So that's important to keep in mind. So what is alternative text? Alternative text is basically just a short description that you write um, for an image so that if somebody's using a screen reader, it will recognize that and read the image to them or read the description of the image. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go ahead and go to tools and extensions, and we'll go to Grackle Slides and we'll launch that. All right, and we're back here. As you can see, there's been a number of images that have failed the alternative text um, check. So let's go ahead and take a look here. Let's go ahead and click on this first one here. The nice thing is that when you click image, it'll take you to the image that needs to be addressed. And I'll just click tag. You can see this dialog box opens up. There's two options here, mark as artifact and alternative assessment. We're going to use purposeful and balanced assessment for this one because that's what it says on the outside. And I'll just go ahead and click update. Now for this next one, I'm just going to go ahead and right click on this. I'll show you another way to do this to add alt text a little faster. And you can see here, and I already added this, but it says Fairfax County Public Schools. All right. Now you might be wondering, well, why not just say FCPS? Why not just use the acronym? It's quicker to type. And the reason is because we don't know who the perspective of our audience is. If we said FCPS, the person might think that we're talking about Frederick County Public Schools. Now, 9 times out of 10, this is probably going to be somebody from Fairfax viewing this, but again, we never know our audience, so we want to be as descriptive as possible. So I'm just going to go ahead and close that out, and we'll go ahead to this next image here. We'll go to tag. And this time I'm going to say Fairfax County Public Schools Social Studies. Awesome. All right. Period wasn't necessary, but I added it anyways. Okay. Now let's go to image number 2, or image on slide 2. And you can see here that Fairfax County Public Schools was flagged again. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and this is the only way to do this, click the tag button. And this time we're going to mark it as an artifact. And you might be saying or asking why. And the reason is because we've already tagged this image once. If it is repeated throughout the presentation or the document, it only needs to be tagged the first time, unless it serves a different purpose or it's absolutely necessary. But this is kind of just a logo, saying, hey, this is Fairfax County Public School property. We set it on the first slide. We don't really need to repeat it. So I'll go ahead and hit update. And now I'm going to go ahead and we'll recheck Grackle. All right, Grackle's finished running, and you can see that slides 1 and 2 are no longer checked. In fact, they are green, so that is good. So let's go ahead and go to slide number 4. Now, you can see here that this is a map. So we're just going to go ahead and tag this, and I'm actually going to just copy this. This would be a nice way to describe it. I'll just say map reservations located in 5 states and 2 provinces. And I'll go ahead and hit update. Now, notice I didn't say this is a map of the United States and it shows Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, North Dakota, Minnesota, Montana, Idaho, Colorado, Kansas. It has a key. That's a little bit too much. That's too detailed for the purpose of this, um, of giving alternative text. So um, we don't want to go into that much detail. So a sentence or two is usually pretty good. Now, one other thing I want to mention, and the reason I'm mentioning this is because this here is an empty text box, and it will be flagged um, in PowerPoint. So remember, not all accessibility checkers are 100% accurate, and they should serve as a starting point and a tool for us. But I did want to mention that. So should we not use this? No, not necessarily, but we do need to tag it, and that's a little bit hard to do in this particular um, in this particular instance. So again, if it's for instructional materials, what we would do in PowerPoint, and I'll show you this in a little bit, is we would just add a description of that would say something like, this text box is meant for students to type in. Um, but unfortunately, we don't have that option in Google here. So um, it also doesn't like that text boxes are empty. So see, it says here, text boxes should not be empty. Um, so just keep that in mind. This one wasn't flagged because it has a bullet. So all you have to do is drop a bullet in there and you should be good to go. All right, let's go ahead and just kind of look at a couple more here real quick. Let's go on to this next one. Again, I think we can use the description here. Let's copy that. I'm going to right click alternative text. Boom, we are good to go. All right, and then here's this last one. I wanted to call special attention to this couple of things on the slide. I think the idea is that the student would move or write T or F in this circle. This is a lot for, um, it's very extraneous. It doesn't necessarily make the lesson that much better. So I would recommend just deleting all of these as they don't really serve a great purpose for us. And then the next thing I just want to mention is that this lettering is not accessible either. Again, if we're going to do this, we just want to use regular, font, sans serif, Calibri, um, Tahoma, stuff like that. All right. Well, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to PowerPoint here. All right. So we're going to switch over to PowerPoint here, and you can see that it's downloaded very nicely from Google Slides. There was one small issue, and that was on the last slide. You can see here it didn't really like what we did with the T's and F's and the circles, but we said we were going to get rid of those anyways, so not a huge deal there. So let's go ahead and just take a look. It says accessibility. Remember, it's always the checker's always running in the background. We're going to go ahead and investigate, and it says here that um, there's 23 objects that are missing alternative text. So let's go to the first one. And that is our purposeful and balanced assessment. And I'm just going to go ahead and, oops, not that one. I'll say purposeful and balanced assessment. Now remember, it's important to spell things correctly because the screen reader won't pronounce it correctly if it's not spelled that way. All right, so now you can see here before we had 23, now we have 22. Let's go ahead and same thing before. We'll just go ahead and say Fairfax County Public Schools. Let's see what it generates here for us. A logo for a school. That's okay. Let's just go say a logo for Fairfax County Public Schools. All right. Now remember in the last segment, we said that was if an image was duplicated, in Google they called it, or in Grackle they called it an artifact. In Microsoft they say mark as decorative. Same thing, same purpose. Let's go ahead and let's go down here. Oh, so here's a great example. Remember in the last segment, I mentioned the empty text boxes here. Microsoft is going to let us add a description. So I'll just say the purpose of this text box is for students to type or write their answer to the question. Okay. All right. So now that has a description around it. So if a screen reader is reading it, it's just not going to say blank box, you know. So just remember that we have to give those a description as well. Now we go back here and you can see we're down to 20. Why don't we go over to the next one? Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to go all the way over there. I want to go back here. Let's go down one. Let's go down one more. There we go. Let's say add a description for this picture. This time I'm going to click generate the text for me. It says groups of tents in the field. It says AI generated. I think that's good. So I'm going to approve it. You notice the extra text goes away. And we'll go ahead and move on to the next one. Let's see, it's a text box again. All right, let's go ahead and add a description. Doing the AI generated ones are pretty fun. A group of people standing next to a horse. And I say, and in front of a TP. All right, and we're all set there. Go back over here. You can see we're down to 18. Let's go over here. Let's do one more. All right, add description. A couple of men in a canoe. Sure, that works. All right. So again, that's pretty much it. Same type of idea as what we were doing in Google, just the process is a little bit uh, different and a little bit more efficient and faster, in my opinion. So again, this was a video on alternative text and adding it to um, images and presentations. I invite you to check out our Schoology page for accessibility for more resources on alternative text. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.